Hello, folks, and welcome to today's edition of Soil and Soul. I'm your hostess, Stephanie, here on Sacred Earth Essentials, where we believe the earth is sacred and you are too. Thank you for being here today as we continue this 2023 Soil and Soul journey. So far, we've mostly just journeyed from my home here in Vermont. However, we are able to journey around the world in our minds and hearts while we learn about different plants from different regions of the world. Because we are here to promote saving soil, making soil, and regenerative practices for both the earth and ourselves. Many of us know the damaging effects that stress and other diseases can have on the body, as well as lack of self-care. This same principle is applied to the earth. When we are abusing the earth and not giving back to it or taking proper care of it, then it also deteriorates, and we will not have topsoil in less than 100 years unless we do something about it immediately. And one way for us to connect to nature in a more personal way is to learn about the specific plants. Many of us in today's modern culture did not grow up with a close relationship to nature. However, here we are in our time of dire need, finally acknowledging and honoring the ways, the knowledge, the wisdom, the compassion of the ancients. And that is part of what intertwines the past, the present, and the future. All right, so on a more scientific note, I'm going to explain to you another powerful nervine named Kava, also known as Kava root, or in Latin, it is Piper methysticism. It's Piper methysticum, rather. Piper methysticum. When I get nervous, I stumble over my words, which is a great way to become aware of how when we feel confident and allow ourselves to flow, typically things run smoother, including our own pronunciation of words. So Kava, Piper methysticum, is a powerful nervine that has its history in Polynesian culture. It's been used for over 3,000 years and is still being used today, both for physical medicinal purposes as well as in ceremonial and religious practices such as weddings, births, deaths, baby namings, as well as cultivating peace, which is a big theme here on my podcast, Bluminations. It is on Buzzsprout if you're interested. It is also a growing project. And one of the important aspects of cultivating peace is to find the ways that we may cultivate that peace within ourselves and with other people, while honoring diversity and cross-cultural peacemaking and keeping practices. All right, so the parts used of Kava are the root or the rhizome, and it originally is thought to have been from New Guinea and then used by the Vanuatu and then spread by the Austronesian Lapita culture. It is also known to be used in Hawaii and Fuji. And so it is also not only used in ceremonial practices, but also it is found in Kava bars, for example. So people also partake in it recreationally. And due to its specific growing conditions and the overharvesting, overuse of Kava, sometimes without the reverence, has caused it to become an at-risk plant. So we must cultivate it in areas where we can and use it judiciously with care and reverence when we do use it. So one particular ceremony that it is often used in or associated with is a ceremony, a process of forgiveness. It can be used with the Ho'oponopono prayer, the Ho'oponopono prayer, which is the concept of, I am sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And so we can say that to others, we can say that to ourselves, and we can use that as a mantra to help ourselves feel, really deeply feel maybe our remorse, our regret, really embody that, what we need emotionally to make those changes, and to really demonstrate energetically or with our words or actions to someone else that we recognize that we made a mistake or could have done something better, or we recognize that there is a conflict in the relationship, an irritation, and that we are making genuine attempts to smooth that over and to be able to have a harmonious relationship, regardless of the context of that relationship. So also, interestingly enough, it cannot grow in New Zealand. I found that interesting, and is known to be used to help people to also reach higher levels of consciousness. This may be in part due to its ability to relax the mind and body, and that when we are in a relaxed state of mind and when our bodies are relaxed, we are able to access the higher functionings of the mind, so to speak. We're able to be aware of deeper levels throughout our universe. Traditionally, it was chewed by women and children and then spit out and combined with coconut milk, because you need a milk product to be able to combine with the lactone. Just my fancy tea stirring. Get a little bit of honey there from the rim. So you need to put it with a dairy. You can use coconut oil, coconut milk, cow milk, almond milk, oat milk, some type of milky substance. I think the best ones are the coconut milk, also because that's the most traditional to combine it with. You can put honey in it or maple, something to give it a little bit of a sweet flavor, as the flavor is somewhat bitter and slightly astringent. Like, you will be able to feel when you taste it how it changes the texture of your tongue and your mouth. And because of it being such a powerful nervine, you will most likely feel its effects fairly quickly, I would say within 15 to 20 minutes, and that it's important to, again, start slow, and if you feel like you need more, to then drink more. So ceremonially speaking, if we were following a traditional ceremony, which I'm not a traditional Polynesian shaman or person of that culture, so thank you for allowing me to share your ancient practices and knowledges in the best way that I know possible with the world. And I apologize for not, if I make any mistakes or could have missed any, pieces of very pertinent information. So the chief would drink it, and what they would do is they will clap and say bola, 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 right? And then you ingest it. And then when you're done with it, you would save a tiny bit and you would offer it to the earth, and you can clap 3 times and say, again, if you would like, the bola. All right. You can definitely taste the root. It's so strong. I did not mix it with cinnamon. Ooh, and you can feel it numb your tongue. It also can be used as a local anesthesia. So it has this kind of numbing sensation, which some people may find pleasurable. And so when you're making the drink, you can mix it with chai. You could use coriander, cardamom, clove, ginger, cinnamon, those kinds of spices. You can make chocolate kava, like a hot cocoa, which is also delicious and combines it with that stimulating effects of theobroma cacao. And So if you're using Kava in a ceremonial context to help to resolve a conflict, for example, you would share Kava with that person or people, and then try to come to a resolution. And sometimes the spirit of Kava, in my experience, is so strong that it resolves the conflict in a way energetically for you by helping to dissolve the fears, anxieties, and tensions on a physical and spiritual level. Ho'oponopono. And again, it's important, well, as you're becoming an herbalist, to taste the different herbs before you combine them. And so if I were trying this for the first time, I would also try a sip without anything added to it to get that real pure flavor of Kava. Laughing at myself in the camera here. So if you would like to purchase it through Mountain Rose Herbs, I do have an affiliate link, and it is cultivated without chemicals. And they have various different sizes. And so again, another testament to terroir. And so this particular plant is going to carry with it the spirit of where it was grown and the spirit of its history. And one of my Hawaiian herbal shaman teachers, Goddess Great Spirit, rest her soul, taught me that when we come together with other people, we're also coming together with the spirits of our ancestors, of our guardians, some may say of our karma or of our genetic lineage. That energy and that karma comes with us. And so sometimes when we meet people and there's these conflicts that we can't explain, it can also be because the ancestors are in conflict. And so Kava can be used both in this belief system in our realm, our 3D realm, as well as in the 5D or the spiritual realm, or whatever you call that realm. All right. I have to go to a meeting here later, and I'm so excited and so thankful to this plant. Thank you, Kava. Thank you, Spirit of Kava and all that comes with it, for being with us here now. And I ask that the spirit of Kava be transmitted through this tea, through this plant, through myself and my words to the people listening to my show right now. And may this small home Kava ceremony bless the world with a new level of peace and tranquility, harmony, and community in the world. Ahom Takuyasen, totally different culture, to all my relations. Bola bola, amen, namaste, ashe, whatever works for you. The important point is to just be thankful. And those words are used, in my opinion, as a way of sealing a prayer or sealing what we're saying, like you may seal a letter with a kiss, for example. Or some people at the end of their videos will just say peace, right? It's similar concept, peace. Okay, so I hope that you have an opportunity to try Kava. If it makes you feel giddy, it relaxes your muscles. It can help with tension headaches, with migraines. It is also used as an oral anesthesia, as I mentioned, making my tongue numb. The only side effect I've ever experienced from Kava has been slight blurred vision, but that's because I already have vision problems. And when I get very upset, actually my vision will go blurry. And so I've just learned that when I can start to feel that, to not drink any more Kava. And also, you wouldn't want to interact. You don't want to combine it with alcohol, barbiturates, or benzodiazepines. It has been shown in studies to actually reduce the effects of anxiety, the symptoms of anxiety, the same and better than psychopharmaceutical pills. And you know what you're getting. You're getting a plant, you know. Oh, so when you're learning the herbs, you, as best as can, want to, buy a small ounce of each kind using my affiliate link. And then you can, or go to your local store. I always promote going to the local store, buying herbs, as local and as sustainably, wildly, organically crafted as possible, which are not always the same thing, legally speaking. And as always, consult with your primary healthcare professional. So go ahead and chew, if you have some and you're interested in, at your own risk, a little piece of the rhizome to get the feel and the taste for it. I notice my tongue getting numb and it affecting my speech. So when we lose soil, not only are we losing the plants of that region, that religion, not only are we losing our life, but we're also losing, the rich cultural history and the diversity of our planet. I don't want all regions of the world to have the same climate. Then we wouldn't have these different plants, these different animals, and different people. All right, so a little bit more about it from a scientific perspective. And this information is also comes from the Medical Herbalism book by Dr. David Hoffman. And so the main constituent, I mentioned this earlier, and I love this word, is cavalactones. And it has 18 cavalactones in it. Some of the cavalactones are methysticin, dihydromethysticin, cavane, dihydrocavane, chalcones, and other flavocavines. So the actions that it is most well known for are being relaxing to the muscles. It's a nervine. It can be a hypnotic. That's one of the reasons it's so fun to use when dancing, for example, or even imagine feeling the waves surfing. Antispasmodic and antifungal, as well as the local anesthesia that I mentioned earlier. And so I'm wondering, I personally really have fun experimenting with plants. And that's part of developing your own personal relationship with them. Same when you're getting to know people. You can read all you want about someone online. You can hear what people say about that person. But you really don't know until you begin to interact with them on your own and understand behavior and ask them questions about how they think and feel and why they make the decisions that they make. And so with plants, it's the same way, is that we can read all about them in a book. We can watch other people use them, but you best develop your relationship with those plants by, harvesting it, growing it, playing with it in your hands, making teas and products. This is actually a decoction, and then feeling it out for yourself. And that's part of what makes, in my opinion, herbalism such a medicinal practice, because it's empowering and it gives you options, and it acknowledges and honors the fact that we are all different as much as we have in common, and that whereas Kava may be an excellent remedy for me, it may not be for you. And that goes for other plants as well. One of the only other, it can cause liver damage and excess use, so you want to be cautious with that as well, liver toxicity. And that is for super excess use, not having a glass or a cup once in a while, for example. And another potential side effect is Kava dermopathy, which is a particular type of dry rash. And again, only found in people who are either of Polynesian descent, who have used it heavily, or people who have been within that culture and using it heavily. So In a double-blind study that was also placebo-controlled, using a particular Kava extract that was made up of 70% cavalactones, the study treated 29 patients over a series of 4 weeks with 100 milligrams 3 times a day. And they found that the group that was using the Kava showed a significant reduction in their anxiety symptoms. And so the cool thing about Kava is, although it's a nervine, it's not heavily sedative. You can take Kava and still be active and still be focused. It just helps you to relax on a muscular level. And so it does not impair reaction time and actually appears to help with concentration, which would make sense because if your limbic system is stuck in the fight, flight, or freeze mode, it's a lot harder to concentrate. I know that when I'm relaxed, I'm much more likely to focus and concentrate on the task at hand and to get better results, which is probably common sense, not so common. So because of this, it also has been found to provide antidepressant effects and, again, some skeletal muscle spasms. I mentioned the headaches, insomnia, and overall bodily relaxation. What a beautiful plant and energy for our world today. And for me personally, I also, some of us can be our own worst critics and our own most strict drill sergeant in a way, I suppose. And for some people that may discipline and may come on a physical level, and for others of us, we may get stuck in negative self-talk cycles. I myself experienced this. And the process of self-forgiveness and self-compassion and unconditional love towards the self applies. And Kava for me is a plant that I can go to when I am feeling really bad about something in my life, and I can have a cup of it. It's not something I drink every day, and I can use it in my own, personal individual ceremony as a way of coming to peace with myself and showing love and forgiveness to my own self. So I think that is good to do things like that for yourself. And so if you're not interested in purchasing it from Mountain Rose Herbs, I know there are some tea companies that also provide a more broken down version already put in tea bags. And I prefer this method. It's stronger, but if you just want to start with something that's easily accessible and mild in dosage and comes in a nice convenient tea bag, then go for it. I believe it's Yogi Tea Brands, which I'm not affiliated with. So one thing I like to know when I'm studying plants is how does it work? You can tell me all you want that it helps to relax my muscles and helps to, lighten the mood and all these other great effects that it has, these actions. But I like to know, well, how does it do that? And so cavalactones, they're a class of lactone compounds found in the roots of Kava, as well as in Alpinia zerumbet, which is shell ginger. And so how these work to help relax the body and reduce stress is that they cause the inhibition of the reuptake of norepinephrine and dopamine. And so when the heads of the axons and the neurons, how you see those images and the little chemicals are floating between them, right? So what Kava does, it prevents that norepinephrine and that dopamine from being sucked back into those neurons. And so that allows for higher levels of dopamine, for example, to, I guess you could say, float around in that nice internal chemical tea that we have going on. And it also, therefore, helps to potentiate the activity of the GABA receptors and to protect against the high glucose cell damage. So I would say that, just like yesterday when we were talking about the oaky milk tops and the straw and how it helps with the myelin sheath of the receptors, I feel like Kava would go well with that also, as far as helping to soothe cell damage and regenerate or rejuvenate from those experiences. And it also has a reputation of being a truth serum. Maybe not a truth serum like other things that probably exist in this world. Maybe not a truth serum like the ones you may see in the movies, but it has a reputation of being a truth serum. And I think that alcohol has that reputation sometimes, that people tend to say things when they're inebriated or under the influence that they might not divulge when 100% sober. And I think that because Kava helps to relax the body on so many levels and fill one with dopamine, just like other substances can, it allows for us to also express our love more with less reserve. And when we're not guarded and ready for attack and feel a sense of trust with the people and the environment that we are engaged in, then we're better able to put down our shields, put down our weapons, and share our truth. And so Kava is here to help us do that, to share our truth in loving and helpful ways. So I think I got everything up. It's also used in the treatment of Parkinson's and helps, again, by acting on the mucous membranes, which is why it helps to relieve pain and is used as a local anesthesia for oral conditions. And I'm wondering, this was my point from earlier, as you experiment with plants, like I'm going to probably put some in a bath and see how that feels to my body. And so you can get creative with herbalism all the way from seed to the products that you create, from what you use for yourself and how you share it with other people. And the world definitely needs more of us to be honoring the earth and to help the earth right now and to help each other through cultivating sustainable practices, both within, as far as self-care goes, and without, caring for the earth and creating more soil, regenerating the land and the hearts and souls of each other, of our people. All right, folks, thanks for being here with me today. I appreciate your time and attention. I hope this brought you some peace and pleasure. Don't forget, the earth is sacred. You are too. Mwah. Bye.